So by now, you may have heard that Plan B won't work if you have already ovulated, especially if you follow me. When I say that, I mean that when you ovulate, that egg is going to survive from 12 to 24 hours. If you have already ovulated and that egg is in that period of time and you take the Plan B, it's not going to work in the primary mechanism way that it's supposed to work, because it's supposed to push ovulation so you don't ovulate and that egg isn't there. But if that egg is already there, it's not going to work in that way. There are some studies that suggest maybe it has other mechanisms, but honestly, we need more studies on this. We don't really know if there is. So that's why the chance of it working greatly is reduced if you've already ovulated, or if you're in that like couple days right before ovulation where your LH is going to spike, because that's what causes ovulation. So if that LH has already spiked, ovulation might already be imminent. But again, there might be things that happen that stop that process. So we need more studies. And then there's people who say, oh, I took it a few days after ovulation, in which case, if you actually ovulated on that day that you think, then technically, yes, your eggs should no longer be viable, and there's no risk of getting pregnant because there's no egg in that fallopian tube that can get you pregnant. So then if you took the Plan B at that time, it's technically going to work, not because of the Plan B, but just because you can't get pregnant at that time. But what I don't want you guys to be doing is looking at your app and being like, oh, it said that I ovulated a couple days ago, so like I must be fine. No, because your app could easily be wrong. This happens all the time, and that is a big contributor to unintended pregnancies. So unless you are tracking your cycle and charting your cycle using cervical quality mucus and your temperature, and you are pretty positive that you ovulated and you're in your luteal phase, then if you were trained to do that and like you've practiced that like I do, then yeah, I would, in that case, I would skip the Plan B because you don't need it. But if you haven't learned that and you haven't been practicing that, then the recommended thing to do is, if you don't know where you are in your cycle, is to just take it if pregnancy is a risk that you don't want to deal with.